Let's see. Let's have y'all come in here today. Let's see what we got going on. I'm doing this stream a little longer. I'm sorry, a little later than I did yesterday. And I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna give it about 10 to 15 minutes on Beyonce's Here internet. That's what y'all are gonna get from me today. A good 10 to 15 minutes on Beyonce's internet. And we're gonna see how that goes. But yeah, it's a lot to discuss today on Beyonce's internet. How y'all doing in here? How y'all doing in here? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? I'm gonna wait for some people to get in before I start commenting. Hey people. Hey Sierra. How are you? Hey Pam. How are you doing? How are you doing? I'm sorry. Y'all gonna see some echo because I was trying to let it come up on the other screen so I can see what's talking. So I can be in the chat a little bit too while y'all are talking. All right, so if you watched my live on yesterday, then you know I was talking about the things that were occurring with Britney not coming to the reunion. As soon as the news broke, I told you, like, she's not coming to the reunion, and we did go into reading her reason. Well, not reason. She said that she found out that the pictures were not of her, and it looks forward to taking accountability and how this has hurt her so much. And as soon as I heard it, everybody that watched this channel yesterday at about 6 or 7 o'clock can tell you, I said, oh, she's setting it up for a lawsuit. I'm not making this up. Nobody had told me this. I immediately, when I read it, knew what somebody was doing. You guys, sometimes you have to be very smart and read between the lines of certain things. You get what I'm saying? Especially when you're on a reality show and it has a variety of people, you gotta know like how to read people in the way of like what really is happening. Okay, so when I read it, I felt a few things. I think that going on a reality show is very, very hard. Very, very hard because you guys are not nice all the time. And I'm going to be very honest. Being on a reality show and even things that have happened off of a reality show, it has hurt people even in my own personal life. The things that people have done, specifically bloggers, it is some bloggers I will never forget. I will never forgive. I will never forget. It is some bloggers that they don't have a moral compass, and they're not people they're not good people. So I say that because again, I've experienced it with people close to me and myself. It can be a hard thing. So when you sign up for a reality show, and anybody that endures it for years understands that they, want to be on TV, they want to show you their life, but they're also sacrificing a lot when it comes to being on that show because it can be very hard. It can be very hard mentally. I think that everybody wants to be on a show like Real Housewives or a reality show until they get the bad things that come along with it. They get the people in your life. They get the people talking about you. I don't think Britney's husband signed up for y'all to be dogging him out. I don't think I don't think that she thought she was signing up to be torn apart or picked apart. Let me not say torn apart. Picked apart. Let me choose my words wisely. How it happens. You have to have tough skin. I will say out of all of the years I've been on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, it has been many times that I was definitely, dealing with things internally because of the things like the internet would say, the things that, like that just you would see and people would say, and maybe you guys didn't know, but the things that were said behind the scenes and the other cast members, it's other cast members that I get a bad rap for things that happen on the show, and I'll take accountability and responsibility for the part that I did say, but it'll be things that were said that never aired. There are people that are on these shows a lot of times, and they are somewhat shielded because you got to have people that the fans like, and that they root for. So I think there are times where some things you may not get all of the information. You may not get all of the information, but the other people on the cast know what is happening, or they know the information. Okay. I don't know that this is the case. I think that everyone was very much thinking, okay, this was her. Because here's the thing. If your name is Susie, let's just give Susie. Susie is the character we're going to call for today. Susie is here. And if Kenya Moore brings pictures of Susie in a compromising position, but Susie never took pictures in a compromising position, and Susie only did web camera stuff by herself or with her friend and not with a male, then Susie shouldn't think that those pictures were her. But if you have done the things that are in the pictures, then you have the thought process that the pictures are probably you, and if the pictures look like you. What I will say is, what part of this did somebody really look and investigate to say, who was on these pictures? Okay, in this thorough investigation that said we need to stop filming with Kenya, which I told you the reasons they stopped filming with Kenya were a money reason. Kenya would have been the highest paid probably on that show this season. And they knew they could get the labor for cheaper with New Housewives. And secondly, because they didn't want to face a lawsuit for them not doing anything about these pictures that were allegedly Britney. Okay? So they did not stop filming with Kenya, again, because they like Britney. They stopped filming with Kenya so that they would not be sued for not doing anything. Do I think that Britney has a case? No. Britney talks about in her lawsuit about this sexual harassment. They can say that something happened, but Kenya is not an employee of Bravo. She works for the network also, but she's an independent contractor. She's not employed. She doesn't clock in any of those things for Bravo. So she is independently working also. They also will note in your agreement, I think you give up you give up rights to even like moral rights. Certain things that happen, like you sign an indemnity clause that basically says that, hey, I'm going to give up certain rights for you to film me in certain places, for you to use it out of context, for these things to happen. And I'm going to give up certain rights, which could be even my moral rights in this instance. So if I'm not mistaken, I have not seen her contract, but what usually happen, you give up those kind of rights. And so she gave up certain rights by being on this show. So when Kenya and her got into that, her argument probably to Bravo was a hostile environment. What they did when they found out about the situation was the right human resource type of thing. Let me cut ties with this person because they created something hostile. If what you might feel is hostile, even though it could be said that you talking about fighting the young lady was hostile. So both of you actually did something that could be considered hostile. What is criminal? Life of LS. Tell me what is criminal that has happened. I think sometimes we get things mixed up in criminal and civil. She didn't file a criminal lawsuit. Nothing in this said that somebody stole from her, somebody murdered her, somebody assaulted her. You must know the difference between criminal. Criminal would be that you assaulted somebody or you threatened to have someone, like any of those things. So agreed, Mad Beefs. Criminal could be something of what Brit may have done, but you have to show an intent and all of that when you come to talking about threats. You can just say anything out loud. That's not really criminal. It's a fine line. They don't just say, I'm on the internet and I say, I'm going to beat you up. That's not criminal. That's not really criminal. It has to be like there was an actual effort. The person could have, like, it has to be all of those things. But again, I say this. So Bravo did what they felt was right in that instance. We took the precautions once we learned of this. We took these measures. These things have happened. All of these things. Britt continued to film the season. She continued to have her own problematic moments. She continued to. So when we're talking about this lawsuit, like, and I can't, let me make sure this is clear, Bo Steele. I can't speak on a contract that they signed with Bravo because I didn't see their contract with Bravo. I didn't see what their contract with Bravo says. I just know with many contracts, if you are in entertainment, you know what that means. But I cannot speak of what her contract says, okay? I don't want anybody to take that as what I'm saying. What I will say is her lawsuit, in the lawsuit, she claims, and she's seeking 20 million in damages. She claims the following. Bravo knowingly contribute to a hostile work environment and sexually harassed by subjecting her to unwelcome offenses and sexualized behavior and comments by requiring her to show up to work after she experienced what she calls a gendered attack. Those are her words, not mine. Those come directly from TMZ, from her lawsuit, okay? So when you hear those things, let's break part of those things down, okay? She says they contributed to a hostile work environment. Kenya was not working on the show after these things happened. So where did they continue this at? Because every situation that she was in, she had the right to leave. She stayed because she would have maybe wanted her money, but no one held her hostage, and she could have left at any point. People walk off and leave all the time. How many reality shows have you seen where they will leave? They'll be like, I'm not doing this, goodbye, deuces, and they walk off. Happens all the time. She could have left. She says that she was sexually harassed by subjecting her to unwelcome offense and sexualized behavior and comments. She is saying this, but she really put herself in a position because she started to talk about the things that she had done sexually. She talked about being on webcam stuff. She talked about, there's a clip where she has her breast out and she's doing all of these kind of things. So she can't say that they put her in sexually like explicit situations when, guess what? Somebody else could have easily said, well, you put us in some situations that may have not been right. You get what I'm saying? Somebody could have said like, well, ma'am, I didn't want you to show your breast to me. Like, you showing your breast to me while we're filming this scene, some of the other women could have been like, well, that could have been interpreted as me being sexually harassed. So she can't create environments of sexual nature and then say, but something that I did not see is creating an environment of unwanted sexual advances when I've talked about it also with the ladies. I brought it up and I've created my own environments. You can't say that. That doesn't make sense. The merit of it is like, well, when did they do those things? You're upset because the women may have called you all kinds of names and all kinds of things, but you have your things that you have said also. It wasn't that they did this and you created, it was an environment where you could no longer just work in it or be in it. So I think that whoever would have advised her of this, here's what I feel. I'm going to be very honest. I feel that her and this lawsuit is not new. I think she threatened the lawyers and the lawsuit prior when all of the things happened with Kenya, and hence the reason that Bravo decided to not film with Kenya. I don't think this is new. I think she threatened it before, and they were like, she is that type of girl. You can tell us, scammer, when you see one, yeah, we can't even do that. So that's why that I think they let it go. This isn't a new thing. I don't think this was the first time she threatened to sue. I don't think it's the first time she threatened to sue. I think that they realized things were going left with her after from what I'm hearing on the street, there were meetings that had to happen with everybody prior to the actual reunion, to see how the season went, to talk through things, and she missed that meeting. I think once she missed that meeting, she realized that she was probably not going to come back. And her thing was, I'm not going to come back. I'm not going to do that then. And so she pulled a last Hail Mary. Even Andy Cohen tweeted at this point, this is, what did Andy tweet? Can somebody pull up the tweet for me? I'm on because Andy tweeted something about it where he was like, at this point, like, what is the tweet? Can somebody pull up the tweet for me? Somebody pull up the tweet for me. Andy definitely tweeted something today, which was, people feel maybe in reference, I don't know if it was, to Brit Edie. So can somebody pull up the tweet that Andy Cohen may have tweeted today? Andy Cohen tweeted today. Does anybody have it? I mean, nobody has the Andy Cohen tweet. It was a tweet, I thought. Come on now, somebody. Andy tweeted. He tweeted about Trump and Elon. Okay, then somebody can correct me on that. But it said, he said it was probably one of the most petty things. So he may have been talking about Trump and Elon. He could have been talking about this Brit Edie thing. I think it was just too much. So do I think that she has a rightful lawsuit? No. Here's the next part of things where I'm going to say this, okay? Just so we're clear. I think that as it relates to this lawsuit, sometimes you have to realize that when you are in lawsuits and you're dealing with people who don't have the financial means that you have, like a Bravo has money and they have lawyers and they have a network and they have insurance who's going to cover certain things, right? But let's say Brit Edie has an attorney who does not, takes the case pro bono or something, and they're waiting to get their money on the end if they collect. When you are the person who is running up an attorney bill, which may be a Bravo, and Brit Edie may not have an attorney bill, sometimes it's cheaper to close these cases and settle whatever they may be. It won't be $20 million. You may get $100,000, and $50,000 of it's going to go to an attorney, or you may get nothing. But, like, to fight a case costs money. If you want to fight a case or you want to sue somebody, be prepared to spend some money. So does Brit have the means to sue Bravo and stick it out? Because she's going to have to stick it out. She's going to stick it out. She's not going to get $1 million. I don't know where y'all think that is. Y'all think people just get money like that? They're not. Nobody's going to give her $1 million because a insurance company or their lawyers are going to fight this out until she finally is like, I'm not going to get anything. Once they start going through discovery and see her text messages, you have to submit all that. When you go through a lawsuit and things, you have to submit your text messages, emails. They may subpoena all of that. So once she starts going through those kind of things, you may not want to send it once they ask you for all of the information and the things that you've sent or text or emailed or posted. It ain't going to go too good. It's going to be brutal. I agree. It's going to be brutal. You don't want to open up Pandora's box and everybody see you all up in there in the videos or in the pictures that you were sending to people, or you saw it before you said you saw it. You know what I'm saying? I think that so she doesn't want to go through discovery and all of that. They were hoping that they could just get a quick cash cow, but they don't know. Just like with other lawsuits that have happened with networks, they will hold it out. No, if they settle, she would never get close to $1 million. They wouldn't offer her close to $1 million because she probably only this season made, in theory, probably a good $30,000 to be on this show this season. She may have made 45. She didn't make that much money. Her new contract, nobody was paying Brit Edie that much money. I don't know for sure, respectfully, and it's not a diss, just so we know. It's not a disc. It's not a diss. It's not a diss. I'm just saying she didn't make that much money. So what you're proving is, where does 20 million come in? Especially if your business was not making that, you didn't make that on the show. Even if you stayed on the show, you wouldn't have made that amount of money in this amount of time. It didn't cause irreparable damage, specifically if your business wasn't doing that kind of stuff, and people say her business wasn't even open. Like, no. It's not that kind of thing. I think that she had some friends who were hyping her up, and she should have got down there with Joseph Fogg to hype me up. She should have got down there because her friends was hyping her up. She got a little hype. Somebody hyped her up. They should have let her, no, baby. You're barking up the wrong tree. You're barking up the wrong tree. You on the wrong team. You on the wrong team. Where your team at? Cause this ain't what you want. Like, it doesn't make any formidable sense, specifically after you look at probably what her contract says. After you look at what her contract says, it won't make sense. I'm sure. I'm sure it won't make sense. I wouldn't be surprised if her contract had an arbitration agreement in it, or arbitration clause in it. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't have an arbitration clause in it, for sure. So y'all, I think this is the craziest things that ever could happen. You didn't even come to try to see if you could save yourself with the people. You file a frivolous lawsuit. But I do say this, and I'm gonna stand by this. We are in a time where people are just filing lawsuits. It's insane to me that people can just file a lawsuit. We are in a time where people can just file a lawsuit. I think it's insane. I think it's insane. Let me read some of these comments. And, I'm trying to let me read some of them, comment to some of it, and then come back. So, criminal activity, we talked about that. I was not really speaking on their contract because I don't really know about her contract. She contributed aggressive behavior is what I would think. Bravo is going to use if they get to Discovery and all that, they're going to use the things that she filmed that probably didn't even make it. She probably was walking around with her chest out and all. Mind you, the camera crew and everybody is men. Men are holding those cameras 90% of the time. Yeah, the suing of it, and she's saying that I don't know that she has the money to keep going with it. Yeah, Andy's tweet said, this is reaching a level of petty that beyond anything I've seen. I think that he's talking about the Trump and Elon thing, but I think he could be talking about the Britney thing. Nope, she would never get $1 million. I'll still stick with that. She probably couldn't even get $100,000. She probably couldn't get $100,000 even. And as it relates to Kenya Moore, I don't, that is her battle as it relates to the things that she's done, and she's taking responsibility. If you didn't see, Kenya Moore issued her own apology. That is her battle. But I do understand that they did what they thought was right. But in my ideal world, of course, you will not have a Brit Edie. You should bring back all of the new housewives, except, of course, Brit Edie. And you would bring back Kenya Moore. I don't know how the ratings for the rest of the season are going to be. I think they took a little slump and then they came back up. So, hopefully, I think that everybody clocked in for this season. The MVP award to me for this season goes to Angela Oakley. Surprisingly, I think Angela Oakley is a staple that should be on this show for a few more seasons after her first season. I think that the other ladies that were first year housewives clocked in also. And to be honest, because she lies so much, Brit Edie should have and probably would have been coming back for another season. She's probably one of the biggest liars. Not biggest. Let me not say that, y'all. Y'all gonna roast me if I say it, but no, she's not the biggest liar on season 16. She's not. She's probably in the top 3. No, top 4. She's in the top 4. It's four big liars on there. Four big liars on there. So, yeah. It's four big liars on this season. Y'all can make y'all list at the bottom. I'm not gonna comment on who it is, but it's four people that would lie on that this season now. It's some liars on this season. Yeah, that's how I feel for today. Look at you, Daisy. Yeah, I agree. Angela's the business. I said I was gonna be up here for 15 minutes with y'all, and look, I'm not talking about anybody surviving my past. Y'all are not gonna get me to talk about anybody because they're already gonna roast me. Like I said yesterday, they're already gonna be like, why he on there talking about women business? Why he on here talking about housewives? Why Candy not on the show? Go talk about Candy, you boring. What you talking about? They're gonna be all up under the comments of it like, get a life, people, get a life, get a life. It is so annoying when I see it. I'll be ready to clap back when they always have something to say. They are totally fine. Like, I'm going to go over there and I like these other bloggers be talking about people and they're so great. Let me go see their opinion. And me, why he over there talking about them people? Oh, he always in women business. I can't stand him. He in women business. He in women business. I'm in business of popular culture, you dumbass. Duh. I'm talking about something you've seen on TV. I'm talking about a show that I was on. I'm talking about, like, you sound stupid. Like, I'll be like, you sound ignorant. It's okay for them to talk about it, but why you talking about it? You ain't got nothing to do except go be running up behind Candy. You ain't got nothing to do. Go get you something to do. Trust me, I have plenty of things to do and plenty of businesses of my own, booked and busy. So if I want to spend 25 minutes talking about this, I spend 25 minutes talking about this. You feel me? All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I am going to leave this up just because y'all came in and I liked it. This was a good little live. Live seems a little bit, easier to kind of give y'all what y'all were looking for. And y'all, have my back in them comments when them people be coming for me. Like, everything that they say that I am, I'm not. Every bad person that they try to make me, I'm not. You might want to ask about me. Anybody that knows me in real life is not going to say the things they're going to say. Am I blunt? Absolutely. Am I ride or die for the people I rock with? Absolutely. But I don't lie. So anything that I've ever said on that show, I never told a lie on anybody. Just so you know that. And in the words of the Scorpio that I am, you know what I'm going to say? Clock that. Clock that. I've never lied on anybody on that show. So if I said it, I stand on business that it happened. You may not have seen it all, but it happened. Just so you know. If I said such about a person, it happened. I don't lie. You might want to ask my friends. Even if you don't know them, ask about me. I tell the truth. I'm not a liar ever. So thank you for joining me. Subscribe, share. And I'm gonna try to keep coming back. I came 2 times this week, y'all. So hopefully that means that y'all you know what I'm saying? Look, you know the reason I came today? Because I went and got some Faygo. Y'all, okay, I'm gonna tell y'all. If y'all know, growing up, I love Faygo. And I found some Faygo and I wanted some today. I went to a gas station and wanted some Faygo. So I got some Faygo and had a little bit of extra energy as I try to end this day. And I hopped online. Thank y'all so much for coming. Like, share, subscribe, tell somebody. Faygo, yep, Queen, I'm from Saginaw, Michigan. Sag Nasty, Red Pop, you better know about it. But let me tell y'all, can Brit go have some babies? Can Brit go get married? And can Brit just leave me the hell alone off of Beyonce internet with her foolishness, okay? Woo! That's all I gotta say in the words of Aunt Bertha. Peach one is good too, child of God. Peach one is good too. But in the words of Aunt Bertha, tell Brit to go have some babies. Tell Brit to go be with her husband. Tell Brit to go get off of Beyonce internet with them messages. And tell Brit to leave us alone. Damn it. That's how we feel about it. Coming to us with the scheme on Beyonce's good internet. Sounds like some scammery to me. You trying to get a bag. Goodbye, y'all. I'm gone. See y'all later.